Hello, everyone. Okay, so welcome. So we welcome this fresh moment without history, openly, because this openness is freedom. The freedom of being, the freedom of not knowing. Not knowing is very rich because it's a complete availability, untainted. There is an innocence in not knowing. A receptivity. So, can we meet whatever appears on the screen without the past, without knowing what we are, what it is that is on the screen? To be this silent witness, without any preference, without guiding the show. Noticing maybe the tendency to seek something, habitual tendency to get somewhere, to reach some imaginary goal. the light of awareness is always on. Images and thoughts appear. They are ungraspable. When we reach for a thought, it's nothing to reach for. And there is no need to reach for anything, to grasp onto anything. What for? It's all imaginary. Sometimes we feel that we must get something or get somewhere to be safe, to be fulfilled. To be safe and fulfilled as what? What is it that's seeking fulfillment or safety? Because whatever you reach can only be as real as that which is reaching. But if that which is seeking that which is experiencing the sense of lack is a figment of your imagination, then whatever that figment of your imagination reaches is also imaginary. Imaginary goodies for an imaginary goodies lover. Yet there is a fulfillment in understanding. The understanding about totality, about your totality, about wholeness, about reality. This understanding about one reality is fulfilling in the sense that it removes the belief in a separate imaginary character. It does not deliver any special new experience, but removes the illusion. The illusion that I am immortal form, immortal entity, born, destined to die, subject to conditions. But when you turn your attention towards the source, when consciousness turns its attention to the source of attention, we discover that we've never left home. And that home is beyond the mind, beyond conception, and beyond perception. And that understanding is not a new belief. It is the dropping of belief, the dissolution, the melting of beliefs about reality. And what is this reality in this moment? Is it out there somewhere? A certain distance from you? How far apart are you from reality? From being? How far are you from this effortless, formless awareness? Which you do not need to conceptualize. Whenever you conceptualize consciousness, this concept is perceived. And that which is perceived in a glimpse is no longer there. But the perceiving aspect is formless awareness. Wherever you turn, there it is. You cannot move away from yourself and step out of yourself. It's not possible. You are that. And that is not a concept which you perceive or a concept which you conceive in this moment. Take a look. Consciousness being conscious of itself. I am conscious. I am aware. And I'm conscious that I'm conscious. I am aware that I'm aware. It's right there. Clear. Obvious. There is no personal self anywhere that is aware or conscious. That is simply a belief that we hold on to. Because experientially, it is always this formless awareness which is aware. There is no need to superimpose a body-mind onto the formless. There's no need to superimpose a form, a story, a narrative upon that which is so obviously formless and real. So if right now you drop all your beliefs and your stories and your narratives, all your past knowledge, all of it, do you disappear? If you wipe the mirror clean from all the images, does the mirror disappear? If you melt your gold bracelet, your gold ring, your gold necklace, does the gold disappear? When the wind quiets down and the riplets on the surface of the pond dissolve in the pond, return to the pond, does the pond disappear? Why do we hold on to the personal narrative when the freedom, the joy, the peace, the bliss of consciousness is our true self? It's a good question. How many times we want to go around the block? Every time with a different narrative. If you have any questions, make sure to unmute yourself. Any questions? Hello, Holger.
Thank you, Magdi. I have nothing to say, but it's so beautiful, so fresh. And again, I nothing to say on one level, but it's just so delicious. I don't know. Just beautiful, just gratitude. That's all. So fascinating. I mean, how I have the feeling I'm freed of something. Something is taken away that, like that kind of. But again, sorry, the words are failing me. It just feels very precious and beyond words, easy. Let's call it beyond words. There's an openness. I have space to breathe in a way. Like a weight is kind of lifted. That was there for, if you allow me the concession, for my whole life. Something like this. And on one level, nothing is different. I mean, it's still the same. But lighter, much lighter. Don't make me think about what I just said.
That's beautiful. The lightness of being, the transparency of being, the freedom, the joy, Satchitananda. Yeah, we love to share that, to express that, of course.
But it's so beautiful. There is not this hunger wanting to be someone or getting something, or it's just free.
Mm.
On one level, there was no need at all to speak on one level. But it's beautiful. It's like a paradox. So mind cannot figure it out.
The birds like to sing, you know.
Yeah.
The butterfly, the sun shines. Is there a need? There is a joy in sharing and in expressing. When it comes to sharing is about freedom, about happiness, about causeless joy.
And no need to go into time. I mean, it's not about stories. The story dropped. I mean,
In love, there is no time. In beauty, freedom, there is no time. In joy, there is no time. So it's so timeless expressing itself. So there is the timeless in the expression. That recognition is also the timeless recognition. The understanding, the love, the ocean. It's not in time. Love and beauty are not in time. Understanding is not in time. Sometimes we use the term absolute in terms of language. There is no opposite to that which is absolute. There is no opposite to reality. There's no opposite to truth. There's no opposite to understanding, to freedom.
I try to come up with a yabat, but it has nowhere to cling on to.
Mhm. When you are happy, there is no mind. It's just happiness across the board. There's no one being happy, no personal happiness, no personal that can claim it, own it. In happiness, we are the happiness. Happiness is
And it's not, if it has nothing to do if I smile or how I feel. I mean,
no
how the,
that it can bring a smile,
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
but it doesn't come
Yeah.
from the relative realm. But yes, it does shine onto the world, body, mind. That's why when we are in the company of somebody who is happy, we are touched. We are somehow touched by the sunshine. You know, it brings the light, it brings the warmth, it brings the light. But of course, the sunshine doesn't come from its reflections on the surface of the pond. No, it shines onto the body mind. Can bring a gentle smile or not. It is always an inner smile. It's the freedom, joy, the peace, the effortlessness, the fearlessness.
Like as if I was before, I was always asking my mind for permission, or I was looking if I was feeling a certain way, like making my happiness dependent on the body mind mood or weather, the inner weather.
Yeah, when there is a beggar, personal beggar, always looking at the ball, you know, is it full? How full is it? How empty is it? Where can I go to get some goodies?
Was a good beggar.
There's no beggar.
Yeah. Beautiful. Yes. Yes.
And of course, there is no ball.
Yeah. Mhm.
No goodies.
Yeah.
Oh, I want those goodies.
It was so beautiful. Yesterday, I met with two friends. I mean, I met in person, so to say. And we met the first time together. I know both of them since 20 something years. And since years, I had on mind, I texted them and I said, I want to meet you guys together. And yesterday, finally, it worked out. And we had a nice tea in a garden. And it was so beautiful, so precious. I mean, it's so great to have friends, that there's friendship and that we can speak about
Yeah.
truth and reality. And
Yeah.
it's amazing. And it's also beautiful to be alone. I mean, I'm very happy to be by myself.
I mean, Sangha, the Sangha is part of how the path unfolds. Make friends along the way who share the same interest, and there's this interaction, there's sharing, exploring, and enjoying, celebrating.
But the sense of lack is gone. And that's such an amazing experience. And I find it so precious that I don't, the hunger is gone. I don't want anything. I don't need anything. I'm just by myself. I'm already more than fine. And then it's such an added gift to share, to
Mhm. Yeah, I mean, in the understanding about the self, the I uh, expands to from the personal to the impersonal, from the personal to
Mhm.
the universal. And so then the sense of lack or the loneliness and yeah, all of that is because at the source, ignorance at the source has been well investigated and digested. So it no longer operates with the same dynamics, or rare occasion may show up its head, but not really, not in a significant way. Yes. Because the me somehow is released from its straitjacket and from its impression of limitation to the limitlessness. From somebody to nobody / everybody. From no one to from someone to no one / everyone. From something to nothing / everything.
And like you said so beautiful in the meditation, there is no need anymore for a show. I mean, this is so subtle, but there was always this, yeah, pretending, this pretentiousness, this trying to create a certain image. And yeah, it's fascinating. What a,
After a while, we realize it's a burden.
yeah.
It's a burden for everybody.
But there was a fear to drop the show.
Yeah.
So it felt.
Right. Fear is one of the veils of ignorance. Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Magdi. I have empty hands. I don't know anything.
Thank you. Any questions?
Hi, Magdi.
Hello, Mark.
Hi. Oh, not. I don't know if this is a question or I'll figure out what I've been dabbling with lately. I use the word somatic a lot in a new way, and I guess what I'm thinking about is what your experience might be as I contemplate. That there's only one reality, as that contemplation takes place. I guess I'm experimenting with the boundaries of the physical body, or where that boundary line. It actually, in the way the word somatic, in a way, kind of to me implies a distinct entity. But I know that it's not. I know that it's not the case. But yeah, I just wondered if you have something you might share from your own experience of how, in contemplation of the fact of one reality, may change your somatic experience. Does that question make any sense?
Yes,
Okay.
it does.
All right.
Let's say that you are in a jail, for 10 years for some crime you've committed. And then one day, your time served, it's time for you to get released from the jail, the power.
I think I already see where you're going.
How would one describe this experience? Somehow, the walls are not there, and the entire sky, and there's a limitless, there is a sense of freedom. But the sense of freedom was interfered with by the walls in the cell, 6 walls. When the walls were removed, so what are these walls? In the jail example, of course, is very clear, but in our sense of self, What are these boundaries? So once you understand that you are not a physical entity, that there is a physical form which you perceive, we call it a physical form. There are forms you perceive, but that you, the perceiver in chief, the only perceiver, is not a form. You're not defined by anything you perceive, anything that you believe. If you let go of the belief, see it as a belief, then you realize, oh, well, I don't have to define myself via this belief. The body, so we have many notions about the body. The body is made out of flesh and bones, and the body is so many pounds, it's so tall, it is a skin, and there's inside the skin, and there's outside the skin. We've studied biology. We have many notions about the body, and they're helpful notions, useful notions, functional. They have functional purposes. But then we experience ourself meaning what? Meaning we experience I as the body. I am the body. I am Magdi, which is the body. The name of the body is Magdi. I am Mark, the name of the body. We believe that. And so the mind is mesmerized by this belief, the belief that I am it's sort of, the mind grasps it and squeezes the heck out of it. It just owns it. So at the somatic level, at the sensory level, at the feeling level, I am the body is not just anchored in the mind, it's also felt. I am the body, and there's outside the body and inside the body. It's outside of me and inside of me. We can agree that, yeah, there is outside the body, of course. There's no brainer, and there's inside the body, whatever, the liver, the lung, whatever, yes. We can agree on that. But where we're investigating is I am the body. There is outside of me, not outside of the body, it's outside of me and inside of me. So me is the body. But most often we live our life without investigating that belief. We just, we're not interested, we're too busy, we've got things to do, we've got goals to attain, whatever, we have things to repair. So that belief structure, which is anchored in the mind, it's also felt in the body, goes on. That I'm somehow in a jail, but we got so used to it. It's like being condemned for 5 lifetimes. You have to give up the idea of freedom, because if they reduce it to 4 lifetimes or 3 lifetimes or 2 lifetimes, what difference does it make? You're condemned. You're gonna. We are like that. We've been condemned for many lifetimes. I am the body. So we live with that sense of limitation, and of course, meaning unhappiness. to be limited, meaning not to be free. No matter how much you get used to it, there is still a deep sorrow. It is also a deep unhappiness. But if you wake up in your cell one morning and you realize, oh, you're not in a cell, you're in your bedroom, in your home in Southern California, and you've been dreaming that you are in jail. It's quite a relief.
Or to wake up in a vast alpine meadow.
Yes, that's even better. Right. Yeah, so when we say awakening to our true nature, it's basically awakening from seeing through the belief that I am the body. So first we see through the belief that I am the body. And the way we see that is via inquiry. The body appears to me. I perceive the body. How can I be something I perceive? I perceive it a tree. I am not the tree. I perceive the couch. I'm not the couch. I perceive a thought. I'm not the thought. I perceive a sensation. I'm not the sensation. I perceive a body. I'm not the body. It's easy to understand that. I mean, maybe not very, very easy, but easy enough. Then what remains is, damn, I'm still feeling that I'm here sitting on the chair. Right? So there is more work to be done about at the somatic level. First, there is the understanding that, okay, look, I feel that I'm sitting on this chair. Well, this feeling that you're sitting on the chair, not denying it, it's something you're perceiving. I'm not trying to diminish its impact. I'm just saying, it's just as a matter of fact, that it's also a sensation that you're perceiving. And you're perceiving, meaning the sensation is arising, appearing to you in awareness, in you awareness. So right then and there is already like a little key, like, how like there are 5 doors to free you from the jail. You hear clink, clink, they're opening one gate. Already, it's one gate opening already. I'm perceiving a sensation. And then you ask yourself, what is it that's perceiving the sensation? Yeah, the sensation is being perceived effortlessly. It's appearing in awareness, and I am this awareness. And the awareness which is perceiving the feeling is not defined by the sensation that it perceives. Except if you choose, you can choose, oh no, I disagree. I want to define myself via the sensation. Say, okay, fine, well, go for it. But that's not what we're doing. We're investigating that you can perceive an oak tree in the yard, but you're not defined by the oak tree. You are not an oak tree. It doesn't define you. That which you perceive does not define that which perceives. Aha. Right? Then, so well, that which perceives it's I. What is the shape and the form and the size and the gender of this I which perceives? I perceive a male body. I perceive a green bottle of water. I perceive a blue couch. But that which perceives the blue couch is not blue. That which perceives the green bottle is not green. That which perceives a tall tree is not tall. That which perceives a short tree is not short. So what are the phenomenal qualities of that which perceives? None. There is no phenomenal quality, meaning there are no limitations. Size, shape, gender, beginning, ending, density, viscosity. You're not burned by the fire or drowned in the water. Every one of these understandings is one of those gates being opened, one of those, what do you call it, the doors of the jail being opened. These understandings are openings of the doors. And then you have to live your understanding that I am not defined. If I'm not defined, that means I could not, in all honesty, tell you that I am in California. I cannot tell you that because that would be defining me. I can agree with you that the body named Magdi, that this male body is in California. Yes, I could share that with you, but I'm not talking about that. I'm saying once there is that understanding, I can no longer say I am in California. Of course, in a relative way of speaking, yeah, of course I tell, hey, Mark, I'm in California. Where are you? You know, in a relative sense. But I'm talking about at the understanding, in the inner understanding. You are not in California. California is in you. You are not in the world. The world is in you. It appears to you. I don't mean is in you like physically. It appears in you. It appears to you. It appears out of you. Why does it appear out of you? It's because there is no distance between that which perceives and the perceiver. There's no distance. So in terms of the somatic yogas, they arise to you out of living your understanding. So your body is the universe. Once you perceive the body, your body as the universe, you're free, both understanding and somatically. Do not define your body. Do not define yourself. Do not define your body. Let it be. Let it be, because it is, when it's free from the control of your mind, it's going to revert to its original nature, which is infinite, which is universal, which is cosmic. So your body is a cosmos. In truth, in reality. I'm not talking conceptually. Conceptually, your body is 5'10", whatever. You know, conceptually your body is male. I'm talking about in truth, in reality, your body is the cosmos. So live not as a contracted, defined body, but as an open field of awareness, which is the heart of not knowing. Live as not knowing. Complete not knowing. Complete being not knowing. And don't make a big deal of whatever appears to you. Thoughts, sensations. Let them let them fly by. The more you don't touch them and don't make a big deal out of them, the less often they'll be interested in appearing to you.
Thank you, Magdi. Very nice.
Hello, Eugene. Yes.
Hello?
One moment.
Oops.
Yes, Eugene. Hello. Hello. Oh, I don't hear you, Eugene. Let me.
Oh, Eugene.
Yes, I'm very glad to meet you today. Thank you so much for being with us. I have a question about genius people. Like, it appears that they created their masterpieces in suffering. Like, for example, Mozart or Van Gogh or Dostoevsky or Newton. But in spirituality, we have peace. So if, let's say, Mozart or Van Gogh were in peace, they wouldn't create their masterpieces for us. How to reconcile this?
Well, genius doesn't mean happiness. Genius refers to a revelation that comes to the body mind. And of course, the body mind must have the skills also, because we all have revelations, but we may not have the skills to paint or to. So genius is a revelation that comes from beyond. It doesn't come from the personal mind. It doesn't come from the conditioned mind, because the conditioned mind, it repeats. But masterpieces are not repetitions. You stop in front of them, they take you beyond your mind. Yes, masterpiece takes you beyond the mind. But it doesn't mean happiness. A genius composer or painter does not mean happy, to be happy. Now, we should not reach the conclusion that genius and unhappiness must be linked. No. We can come to the conclusion that, oh, okay, genius pertains to a certain body mind that has a revelation from beyond, and the capacities, the skills to formulate, express that message, that insight. And but that does not imply that it's coming from a sage or coming from happiness. But as I said, there are many people who are very, very miserable. Very miserable. There's no genius. There's no. There's no. So, don't reach the conclusion that, oh, okay, misery and genius go hand in hand. And one can be happy and may have very little skills or no skills in expressing, maybe in painting or sculpture or music or dance, but they will have a different skill, which is that they can infect you with their happiness.
I understand. I think I understand. That's a very important skill. Maybe more important than being a genius.
For some people, it is.
I see Holger has that skill. Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Maggie?
Yes, is it John?
Maggie?
Yes, yes. Hello, John. Yes.
Oh, let me see if I can articulate this somewhat.
Okay.
I was losing it listening, but I guess no, I don't guess. I tend to feel suffering or tension or stress just listening to the satsang at times, and people expressing certain things. And when we're expressing, I'm the universe, I'm not the body, and so forth. So I have had a felt sense of that. I've tried to investigate to some degree of that, and and realize there's always consciousness. I mean, the only real huge certainty that always comes back to me is that whether I'm investigating or I'm using the mind or I'm feeling or whatever, it all changes. I won't even say it comes and goes, because many things go and come back. So it may not come back the same way, but it's the changing. It's not the changeless. So you know, I can experience that. You know, that's firsthand experience. You know, I can see that's true, and I can't deny that. And I don't have any other concepts for it, except for that something remains. So we call it consciousness. And when you were talking, oh gosh, about realizing that there's a freedom, you know, I'm sure there's I mean, sometimes when I think I have a glimpse and that kind of stuff happens, there's just like, I've had these 10 backpacks on me and they've dropped, you know, and yet at the same time, it does seem like it's very difficult for me, the body, mind, whatever. I'm just going to say me. It's very difficult to move through to the other side, so to speak. And you know, I can go through, there's no other side, and so forth and so on. But I'm just trying to express something. I'm trying to articulate something. I'm sure you understand what I'm saying. It's just that I end up having, it comes back to a concept that I'm the universe. It comes back to, and then also with the dying and this and that, and it's like, okay, like you don't burn with the fire, you don't die with the body or whatever. I can understand that on the conceptual level, okay? Because, okay, so there's consciousness, and that's the unchanging, and the changing is the fire and everything else, and so forth and so on. And you know, and I've seen that. My mind goes to that direction, and I know the mind's not going to grasp it completely, but it still goes there, and it says, yeah, you know, I see that there's truth in that, you know, and yet there's this, it still hangs on to the consciousness thing. Like consciousness burns in the fire, consciousness dies, you know, because and again, this is the mind. Yes, it is, but it is saying, but it seems like I always hear we tend to usually go through things intellectually first, and then somehow we experience the truth, and then we don't need the conceptual stuff. But anyways, back to this, that it seems like I can only go so far, and then the mind says and it really is like a wise mind that says, well, you know, you have no real evidence of that. It's a concept for you right now, and I have to be honest with that. Not everything is a real experience for me. It's a concept, and
Yeah.
and at times I get glimpses. So that's all I can say. And so I suffer sometimes. Not sure why all the suffering is there, but anyway, I don't know. I hope that you can understand what I guess I'm just saying that I'd like to drop over to the other side, certainly because it feels true, but it also is my freedom because I suffer a lot being a personal self. All right, that's enough. Thank you.
Suffering, it's part of it. And of course, like it varies from person to person. But irrespective of the differences between each one of us at the relative level, each one of us has their share of suffering and has traveled through or is traveling through what we call suffering, meaning the sense of limitation, the sense of separation, the sense of lack, fear, worry about the future, concerns about what's going to happen, when will I be free, regrets about the past. So resistance, resistance is part of the journey. Resistance and the pain of resistance. You can call it the mind, doesn't matter what you call it. It's the unhappiness is like the heat, when the blacksmith puts that piece of metal in the red fire again and again and again to that fire tenderizes the steel. So we don't need to simply define our experience, and I know you don't, I'm just speaking generically. We don't need to strictly define our experience via the suffering. Yes, there is suffering. There are moments where we feel really stuck. We feel it's all conceptual. We're not getting it. We want to get on the other side, etc. I mean, different narratives, different folks, different songs, but it's more or less the same. That I'm unhappy. I'd like to have a different experience. I'd like to experience something else than being this limited self. Yes, it's part of the journey. Now, again, it may be challenging, but it's an invitation not to define yourself, by any mind state or by any sensation or by any way in which your body is appearing, or not to reach any conclusions about yourself based on what you're perceiving, because everything that you shared with me are perceptions, whether they're happy or unhappy perceptions or sensations. They're perceptions, and perceptions, as you know, John, they don't remain forever. They come and go. And even the thought that says, oh well, okay, they come and go, but they keep coming and going again and again and again and again and again, that's also a narrative. It's a narrative that somehow we cherish this narrative. We we buy into this narrative. That I've been on the path for so many years and I'm still spinning in the mud. That's a narrative. And this narrative somehow has some appeal for us. We have all sorts of thoughts and arguments that can validate our narrative. And we're very adept at validating our narrative, proving our narrative is true. Is this what's happening to me? And so that becomes our experience, the narrative that we're weaving. But every now and then we drop the narrative. Somehow, every now and then the narrative drops off, it falls off for a moment, and then we realize, oh, hey, heck, just everything's okay for now. But then the mind comes back and says, oh, well, everything's okay right now, but you haven't really reached, the Godhead or whatever. And then you're back into, you're still not experiencing Sahaja Samadhi, blah, blah, blah. And then start spinning, which are also narratives. I mean, most of the teaching is basically pointing to formless presence. It's not marketing any narrative. It's basically saying that, hey, look, you are this effortless awareness. And this effortless awareness has no name. It's not named John. It's not named Magdi. How simple can that be? And there's only one awareness, only one reality. That's it. Boom. That's it. That's it. Then I'm done with the Dharma. There's no more Dharma to teach. That's it. But then the mind says, well, okay, right, but how come, I'm still experiencing resistance? Then we have to say, okay, look, you're not experiencing resistance, you're perceiving resistance. You're perceiving a sensation. Yeah, but this sensation keeps grabbing at me and I feel that it's me and so on. Then we say, okay, well, that's also a narrative, that's also a story, those thoughts you're having. In the teaching, we're like repeating the same thing in so many different ways, really. What we're pointing to is your innate freedom, not your innate freedom as John or my innate freedom as Magdi, but our innate freedom as awareness.
Yeah.
And okay, so you say, well, there's happiness, unhappiness, and suffering that appears on the screen. Okay, so what? It's just, I mean, so, well, what do you mean, so what? So what? I'm unhappy, and you're happy. That's why you said, so what? And no, that's not what I don't mean. So what? I mean, you are not defined by what appears on the screen. If you choose to define yourself by what appears on the screen, yes, it's miserable. I mean, I identify myself with the body. You know how miserable that is? I mean, every day the body is getting 24 hours older, 24 hours closer to ill health and sickness and God knows what else around the corner. Memory loss and God knows what else. But defining yourself as the body means defining awareness as a body mind. But awareness is not a body mind. It's non-phenomenal. The teaching is repetitive, and God always is knocking on your door. And God's door they have no doors. There are no doors to reality, to truth. But there are doors to my house, so knocking on my door. Hey, open your door. And sometimes the way the universe knocks on your door is via suffering.
Yeah.
Because suffering invites us to, I want to be free of suffering. And that's wonderful. I want to be free from suffering. Is this an invitation? So we investigate. What is this suffering? What am I holding on to? What am I holding on to? What am I holding on to?
Yeah.
So I take a look. I take a look. What am I holding on to? What belief am I holding onto? What story am I holding on to? What am I holding on to? So I take a look. Uh, I've taken a look so many times. I'm tired of taking a look. I've been taking a look for 10 years. I want to take a look. Well, that's what you're holding on to. You're holding on at this moment. I'm holding on to the story that I've been taking a look at this for 10 years. I'm tired of taking a look. Okay, that's what I'm holding on to right now. Next question is, can I let it go? What's the point of holding on to the story? How much happiness this story that I'm holding on to is providing me? Zero.
You say that, and I guess what comes up for me is that the story involves living a life too. So there's the relative world, and so I think I have to hold on to some kind of a story. Does that make any sense?
No, tell me some more. Like, what story do you need to hold on to?
Okay, so I need to hold on that you know, uh, you know, I did, I need to hold on to what the future holds for me, even though I don't know what it is exactly, but I certainly can make some assumptions like everybody else, and people make plans, and a lot of people are making plans to
Yeah, but
in different ways.
that's not a story, John. That's not a story. But you're thinking about, okay, well, what's going to happen to me next year? Maybe I will need, I don't know. Let me see. I will need a wheelchair.
Well,
A wheelchair next year, so I need to start. I don't know, saving money to buy a wheelchair, or I need a better health program. This is not a story.
uh,
This is more like a practical thinking about your future. I mean, how much money do I have in the bank? How many more years this body is going to live? What are my expenditures? This is not a story. I'm asking you about what story are you holding on about yourself? And you're telling me you're giving me an answer about the practical considerations. No, that's not a story. You, you, you're,
well,
you're, 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 you're mixing practical thoughts about uh, steps that you need to take to have a hopefully an easier life, which we all do. But story is about poor me, or I am. A story is about the self.
yeah,
It's not about the body, it's not about the condition, like, oh, I live in a small house, I need more space. That has to do with the body. That doesn't have to do with me. So you need to make a distinction between a me story and practical, maybe not so simple, but practical thinking and practical planning about the health and safety and well-being of the body.
yeah,
Because obviously you are manager of the body. I am the manager of the body, Magdine, and you are the manager of the body, John. I take care of my body. I think about it. What am I, next year, 5 years from now, there are some plans. I take some steps. Some steps I would like to take, I can take. Some steps I'd like to take, I can take, etc.
yeah. Well, yeah, that's what's taking place. I think now is uh,
Oh,
is the kind of hopelessness of the practicalness, and
yeah.
my also my the also um, my thoughts of not being a very good manager, and I'm not putting myself down
It's
Well,
possible
sometimes.
it's possible that it's possible that not everybody is the same manager of their body mind. You know, some people drive their car to the ground and they don't change the oil on it regularly and so on. Some others do. Okay,
Yeah.
well, that has nothing to do with the self. That has to do with the body mind called named John, the body mind named Magdi. Some body minds are very meticulous, they want everything, they cover every dot, they dot every I, whatever. And some others are like, oh, well, you know, they live more haphazardly. And then later on, say, ah, damn, I should have planned for this, you know. But that's not what we're talking about.
Okay. Well, and even as you're speaking now, the mind just sort of like scrambles. And so it's okay. And I have this recording, so, I'll get it. Hoga will send it. And I'll have to keep asking questions, and trying to understand a little better,
Okay,
the distinction.
point that I want to make, John, is that we can be not such a good manager of the body mind and still be happy. Happiness
Go ahead.
does not depend on being a good manager of the body mind.
I know this conceptually. I know this from non-duality. I hear it. I want it. It doesn't mean I want to be lazy and that kind of stuff, but it means I want it. Okay. Because I know that's got to be the truth. I just know that sometimes I'm happy and I haven't done anything for it and necessarily.
You see,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
If you're defining your happiness based on if you're a good manager of the body mind,
yeah,
then you're setting a trap for yourself.
That's what I'm doing.
You're saying, oh, well, I'm not such a good manager of then therefore I'm miserable. I cannot be happy because I don't know how to deal with as well of my life.
Yeah.
I haven't planned exactly for my life, what's my body. So yeah, I mean, if you're finding your happiness based on what a good manager you are, then you set a trap for yourself.
Yeah. Okay. I'm hearing you.
You do your best. You do your best. You do your best, John, with the body mind. You do your best. Okay, you're not perfect, nor am I. Nobody's perfect. We do our best. Okay, and we adjust as best we can. Sometimes it's painful. Sometimes it's easier. Sometimes the universe smiles on us and we win $20,000 in the lottery. And sometimes
that may not be a good thing.
Sometimes we drive and we hit a tree and we wreck our car because I don't know, it's just for a moment of inattention, or a dog was running across the street and
okay.
We do our best with this stuff. Okay.
Yeah, I always hear you say that. I always hear you that. Your words come to me all the time, and somehow I just go, and then I just go, yeah, but or something, And
I'm gonna say the but I'm saying don't. But
no, I didn't say you said the but. I can say the but.
I'm gonna say it this time. But don't compromise your freedom based on on how successful you are with managing your finances. Don't don't make your freedom captive stuff.
Yeah, I and even that on the sort of relative level, like you go into therapies or even financial counseling or some kind of stuff like, oh, don't worry, you have to forgive yourself for this or that, all that's there, or it is and then it isn't. I still have the psychological, the me thing of, you effed up, you did this, you did that, all that, and I know that, and I look at that and go, okay, and it goes back and forth, and so I know that the acknowledgement and the knowing of my true self awareness is the only way for me, and I have no other way to go. And it's all miserable the other way. And so, well, most of it. And but I'm hearing you, and and I think what I have to do more now is ask questions, and I'm often afraid to do that, but that's what I'm going to do.
Okay, John.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thank you, Magdi.
Yeah. Nice talking with you. Okay. Thank you all. Lovely to be with you. Thank you.